So I want to kind of go over just a little tidbit on some vocabulary for the stock unit. Another type of stock that I didn't mention in the last video is vegetable stock. And so this is made without meat or bones. And so stock is not just for people that eat meat. It is also for vegetarians. There's also broth, which is less flavorful and it has less of a mouthfeel. So it's a little bit more of a watery component, but it does have flavor. And this is made by simmering the meat and the vegetables for a shorter period of time. In the next lesson, we talk about the time that it takes to make a good stock, and it does take quite a while. There's also base. So concentrated base is really common. And this is a flavoring agent, and you dissolve it in water, and this creates a flavorful liquid that you can also use as a base or a soup. And so base comes in the grocery store really often as a powder form, a bouillon, or paste. So if you see chicken bouillon, which I have a photo of in the next slide. If you eat ramen noodles, the silver packet inside of the ramen noodles is mostly comprised of this powder. It's just some chicken bouillon flavor. These products contain a lot of salt, MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, and preservatives. And so when you're looking at this option for creating for creating a base, or for creating a flavorful liquid, or adding flavor to your ramen noodle soup, you are eating a lot of preservatives. And so on a health basis, these are not that great. And for people that don't eat a lot of processed foods, these items are all extremely salty. They don't have to be kept in the refrigerator. They last pretty much forever in the shelf. They have a really long shelf life. And food items that don't go bad are kind of viewed as not being kind of real food items, so they're extremely heavily preserved. In my classroom and in my home kitchen, I use a product here. It's called Better Than Bouillon, and I buy it in the same place that I buy the soups at the same place I sell the bouillon cubes in. And this product here comes in a jar, and when you open it, it's more of a like a paste. And so it's real thick, but it also contains some liquid components. And they sell it in beef and chicken and vegetable. And the vegetable is really just mirepoix vegetables that have been cooked down for a period of time and then dehydrated out. And so this is, if you look at the ingredients on the side of this, there is salt in there, but it contains a lot less of the preservatives. There's not MSG in there. The ingredient list, you can pronounce the ingredients. Like, I recognize all of these ingredients. It will last for about a year in the refrigerator. Once you open it, you do need to keep it in the fridge. It will grow mold on it in the cabinets. You want to make sure you keep it in the fridge after you open it. But it'll last for a really long time. And if by keeping this in your refrigerator, it's not very expensive. It's only like $4 for a jar, and it goes a long way. But whenever you cook rice, or you're making pasta, like for spaghetti, if you're making potatoes, like boiling potatoes for mashed potatoes, if you add a little spoonful, like half a teaspoon is plenty, to your water, then it really does make a big difference in the flavor of your finish and your final product. And so it keeps things from being quite so bland. It really is a great way to boost flavor. I keep all three of these around. So I use all of them in sauces and in my water to flavor items. I actually like to mix the vegetable and the meat one around. So if I'm making like mashed potatoes and boiling my potatoes, I'll actually put like a quarter of a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of both the vegetable and the meat flavored one in there, because it really increases that flavor component quite a bit. So just a little recommendation, a little side note, particularly for ramen noodles. So in my classroom, I have a lot of students that do the ramen noodles, and we buy them in the package and not in the styrofoam cup. It is not healthy to microwave that styrofoam cup. We learned that in the last couple of lessons. Styrofoam is made of chemical products, and when you heat it up, they are released into your food. And it's more expensive. If you buy the styrofoam cup, it's more expensive. So doing the ramen noodles from the little package gives you the option on the stove of adding your own flavor agents. We even do a full food lab where we cook some, like a chicken breast and some meat and vegetables around. We mix them with the ramen noodles, and then I lay out a bunch of different sauce options, and the students are able to make their own ramen using a product like this or using different sauce agents. And they really like it better. They say that it's less salty, it has more flavor, it's more depth, it's more complex. And so even when my students go away to college and they're making ramen noodles, we throw away that nasty silver packet full of salt and stuff, and we try to use a healthier or better alternative.